Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have some apologies to do. It's been 6 months since I have recorded a video. That's not great. Sorry to leave you guys there hanging. Last that we've done anything, it was version 3.11. These videos weren't really live streamed, even though it said live stream in the title. The goal of this was to show you a real developer's experience to coding, and I kind of been missing. And I've actually been gone so long that we now have from 3.11 all the way to 3.16. So if we were to update this project, as anyone would, you can simply run npm outdated to see a list of outdated npm modules. You can see that we're indeed in 3.11 and we want to get to 3.16. So I can do npm update, and this should update all of the versions that are available or out there. If I do npm outdated again, I can see that the current and latest, or the current and wanted, now match. Yes, there's older versions of Vite. Yes, there's older versions or newer versions of TypeScript. Sorry, it's now live. I'm not really concerned. We got Motion Canvas all up to date. This little caret symbol means at least this version. The other way of doing it is I could simply do 3.16, 3.16, 3.16, 3.16, and then I can do an npmi, and that would also work as well. Version 3.16 doesn't actually match for this. Okay. Anyway, actually I'm just going to do 3.16. I don't know what version that actually is now. npm, geez, what would it be? If you don't know, you can Google npm commands, and I want a list of versions that I actually have on this computer. And npm ls, and Vite is 15.1. So if I actually wanted to get rid of the carets, and there's pros and cons to both. I have 3.15.1. 3.15.1. ffmpeg is 1111. TypeScript is 459, and Vite is 453. Save that. Run npm I or npm install again, and now we're looking pretty good. And if we're doing any sort of major update, let's review the docs, and I will be going over this in a future video as well, but lines can now be tweened. We have new updates to the scene graph tab, shaders, a brand new code node, which will be useful, and then we get a brand new camera node with helper module. This is all great. Okay, so when I did my last video, it was supposed to be about yields and generators, because I did previous stuff with Motion Canvas on my own before I made this channel, and I noticed that was one of the core parts of Motion Canvas. So much so that I had my own example that I showed. I didn't realize at the time that Motion Canvas has their own animation flow page all about a generator. So let's go through that. Let's see what they say. And this will be part 2. to get kind of back on this motion canvas journey, and hopefully I can keep up with the videos. Long story short, I moved homes and got some dogs and been very busy. So motion canvas uses a generate function to describe animations, and we've essentially seen this before. If I go up to what's commented over here, we have a generator function. Mine was called amount. It had yield 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and here we have 1, 2, 3. And this would be very similar. Amount iterator, amount. Here they just have generator example. Here it does generator.next, and then it gave you the value. I didn't really output that the same. But yeah, you can do dot value. When the yield keyword is encountered, the execution of the function pauses and resumes only when the caller requests another value. This is particularly useful when declaring animations. Usually we want to change the things on the screen in an incremental step to create an illusion of movement. We also want to wait a constant amount of time between these updates so that our eyes can register what happens with the generators. We can update things in between the yield keywords and then wait for a bit whenever the function yields. Essentially, if you're used to await and async functions, this is another version of asynchronous JavaScript. With that in mind, we can make a circle flicker on the screen using the following code. So if we wanted to test this, let's do it npm start to get our stuff running, and that did not work. Why did that not work? We have nvm serve, nvm serve, nvm run serve. See, if you make mistakes, that's okay. And then we have all sorts of issues. Cannot find module, motion canvas, serve. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, and this is totally unrelated, is I'm using version 18.17. It's been a while since I've made these videos. So let's actually update Node real quick. nvm ls remote can show us a list of commands. NVM is an additional tool that I use for managing Node versions. I want to use LTS. I always want to use LTS. And so latest LTS is 20.14. So I can do it nvm install 2014.0. It's going to install itself. Now I'm using NVM. So if I do node-v, there it is. Now I want to do an nvmi again, just to download the latest version of it so I can recompile and whatnot. And now I want to change this to start. npm start, and there we go. So then I go localhost 90. Here we go with our circle that we had last time. Move this window over, close this out so I can access this, and we can see our ball example as before. If I go back to the example screen and I copy the example here and I paste it, I think I can just paste the whole thing. So I replace this with that because I want to see it update in lifetime. This now changes it. Sorry, I didn't realize there was going to be so many colors. Needless to say, it would be extremely convenient for me to write all the animation like that. Fortunately, JavaScript has another keyword for use of generators, which is yield star. It allows us to delegate yielding to another generator. So then if we take this right here, this example, so they have their function inside, so we don't know where flicker is. then we also want thread generator. Create ref. Huh. Looks like their documentation is missing something. And then we no longer need, oh, I guess we do need circle still. Make 2D scene. Yeah, so their documentation is missing some stuff. So if I save this, same thing. Nothing changes. And if we go through here, we are creating a reference to a circle. We're now creating a circle. Reference type is circle, circle, reference. This allows us to change the circle. Circle's a width of 100, height of 100. Flicker, we're using TypeScript here. So we have a circle, type circle. It has thread generator is what it is. Output is response type. Circle comes from this circle. We want to fill it with red, yield, fill with blue, yield, fill with red, yield. This whole function is being used is right here. This circle is this circle, which is being passed to this circle right here, and then coming down to there. The result of the animation is exactly the same, but now we have a reusable function that we can use whenever we need to do some flickering. Motion Canvas provides a lot of useful generations like this, and you remember this snippet from Quick Start. It animates the fill color of the circle from its current value over the span of 1 second. As you may guess, the result of calling fill this is another generator which we can direct our scene function. Generators like this are called tweens because they animate between two values. You can see the tween in between bolded. You can read more about them in the tweening section. If we look in the future, tweening's right here. We will get to it later. Another kind of generators are flow generators. They take one or more generators as their input and combine them together. We've mentioned the all generator in the quick start section. Here's a few more. And if we scroll down, did we talk about it at all? We did not. So this is some new stuff. So we have all, runs all tasks concurrently and wait for them to finish. If we wanted to have an example, we want, for this right here, we wanted both to fill and the opacity to change. Any runs all tasks concurrently and waits for any of them to finish. So this is wanting all of them to finish at the same time. This right here, you're waiting for at least one of them to finish. Then we have chain. So it does that fill, and then right after that, it does this. It doesn't do them at the same time. It's one after another. One after another. Note that the same animations can be written as yield star this, yield star that. The chain exists to make it easier to pass it to other flow functions. For example, we can chain this right here and then also change the size of the radius. So if we want to change the size of the radius, 1 second, 2 seconds, this is now filled, radius is still getting bigger, and then the opacity is now changing. So that's how you can do multiple animations all at the same time. Then we have a delay. We're in a given generator or callback after a specific amount of time. So we wait 1 second and then we fill it. It could also be the same as wait for 1 and then fill 2. The reason delay exists is to make it easier to pass it over to other flow functions. So we change the opacity That should take 3 seconds. And then as we change the opacity, we want to delay it for 1 second. So in other words, we want to change the opacity for 1 second, do nothing else during that 1 second as we change opacity. And then after the 2 seconds, as we're changing the opacity, we're also changing the fill. And then we have sequence. And then this is starting all tasks one after another with a constant delay between. So then this would be, you have your rectangular, your rex, you're mapping this rectangular object into this. Don't worry about the map function right now. But yeah, the function doesn't wait until the previous task is finished. Once the delay has passed, the next task will start, even if it is still running. So you wait 0.1 seconds, and then it instantly starts doing this. We also have loops. So here's an anonymous function, and we are rotating this rectangle over and over. Here's an example of looping. So you have your rectangles, your rectangular array, your rectangle object. Here's your reference. We want 5 rectangles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We wait for 1 second, and then we are animating all of these rectangles to go up and down. So actually, if I take this code and I plop it into here, we get a bunch of issues. So if we wanted to fix those real quick, I can add rect here. That's one of them. Range is not there, so let's see. We got range and all in core. And there's the issues. And there the errors go. So if I wanted to save this, and then there's the same demo on my screen. If I wanted to just show an example of all these real quick, there's the all. There's chain. I think we're good. Yeah, I think we're good. And you notice how the video bar does one loop of rotations, and then it doesn't, and it repeats. So it looks like it's a loop. It's really not, just the video is in a loop itself. This is one of the most elegant ways to do simple tweens, but requires nesting all to do multiple tweens on an object, since map callback must return a thread generator. This is similar for above, using the for loop and all. Using for loop, you can do the same thing. So there's multiple different ways. You can use a for loop. You can do, over here you have, where is it? You have this loop, which could be the same as a for loop. This is more of a while true, if you know that. It just loops indefinitely. A for loop would, you could loop each and every one of them independently, or you could do the same loop over and over again. So that is animation flow. If you have any questions, please let me know. This is the first live stream officially of the channel. I plan on doing many more of these. The next live stream, which will be later this week, hopefully, will be deviating from Motion Canvas. I have a personal project I'm going to convert from HTML into React using Next.js. It'll be another live stream. So please stay tuned for that, and I will catch you later.